News. This is breaking news.
Thanks for being with us at 6. It's cyanide. That's the hazardous material that local, state, and federal agencies have been investigating for days in Madison.
That is according to Dane County prosecutors, who shared more information about the investigation during a hearing for one of the two people arrested in this case.
WMTV's Ashley Wheel has been following this investigation from the start. Now, Ashley, you listened in on today's court case. What else did prosecutors share today?
New information we learned in connection to the multiple hazmat scenes. 7 DCI agents have been hospitalized due to the exposure from the investigation. We also know one victim was hospitalized after cyanide was found in her car. In court today, Deputy DA William Brown says the investigation started last month in Middleton. He shares that he alleges that Andrea Whitaker, who faces a charge of harboring or aiding a felon, worked with Paul Van Duyn, who faces charges of stalking and attempted homicide. He says that the two were working together to poison women that Van Duyn's had dated. We now know that there are at least 2 victims who both had their car broken into and cyanide was placed in their water bottles. Van Duyn was arrested on Sunday after he showed up at one of the victims' homes. Whitaker was arrested after she was seen entering Van Duyn's home on West Skyline Drive and left with items that officers believe are to be criminal evidence.
This defendant's phone was seized, and I can tell you that the search history and the chat messages between her and Mr. Van Duyn are extraordinarily concerning. There is detailed discussion on obtaining different poisons, how to make them. It's believed that this defendant has an academic background in pharmacology, knows how to do those things.
Van Duyn is expected to appear in court on Friday. He's facing multiple attempted homicide charges and stalking charges. Whitaker is also expected to be back in court on Friday. Brown also confirmed that this investigation is connected to the 3 scenes in Madison that the Department of Justice has search warrants for and are investigating. Here are those locations: the 5600 block of Schrader Road, the 100 block of North Spooner Street, and the area around West Skyline Drive. The FBI, National Guard, and several other agencies have become involved in this investigation. The State Department of Justice released a statement tonight saying they are continuing to investigate the multiple scenes. Live in studio, Ashley Wheel, WMTV 15 News.
Ashley, thank you. A court official set Whitaker's bond at $750,000. If she is released, she was ordered to have no contact with Van Duyn. Let's recap what we know so far about this case. This all started on Monday afternoon when the Madison Police and Fire Departments were called to that home on Skyline Drive Monday for what they called a hazardous situation. Our crews were on scene on the 1400 block of Skyline Drive and saw multiple agencies respond. Now, yesterday, our crews were on scene at 2 different locations we later confirmed were connected to the Skyline investigation. Later in the night, we learned that 2 people were in custody in connection to the events.
Our team has been following this case for the past 3 days, trying to learn exactly what happened, and we are continuing to follow it. To get the latest updates, download our free 15 News app.